I'm Brian. This is Brandon.
Hi.
Today, talking cigars. That's definitely going in. Alright guys, welcome to the video today. Today we want to sit down, have a couple cigars, talk about Cigar Aficionado's top 25 list of 2017 and maybe what we would have picked if it were up to us. So cool, we got some Fuente, Eye of the Sharks here. We're going to cut them up, get going. Yeah. You going to cut that? If you want me to.
You bitch.
I guess the first thing that's interesting about the list this year is if you notice the top three, Fuente, Padrón, Oliva, right? All their patriarchs.
Yeah, the past 2 years, all the patriarchs of those three cigar families passed away. I believe, was it Padrón in 2016 and Oliva and... No, Fuente was in 2016.
Fuente Senior passed in August of 2016.
That's right.
And Senior Oliva and Padrón, Jose Orlando Padrón passed away in December of last year.
R.I.P.
So I gotta think that maybe the list was probably done before December since it was released in December.
Right.
So
And a little bit of a salute to those families as well, which is nice. Because I'm sure they spent a lot of money advertising Cigar Aficionado over the years.
Well, that's the other kicker, right? Is that's what a lot of people say. Is the top 25 list valid or not? So I would say
It's as valid as you make it, baby!
I agree. I mean, is it totally, completely valid? Well, it's hard to say that if you can predict that the newest My Father is going to show up as on the top 10 every single year, and you just know that it is regardless if it's good or not. I mean, it may be good.
Yeah, but maybe you didn't care for it, and that's okay. Because you don't have to care for everything that's on the list. It's the list.
I agree. So, what is the list this year? First off, we got the Eye of the Shark. Now, this is 5 3/4 by 52
Yes.
from Fuente.
A little bit of a box press torpedo.
Yeah, it's a really interesting shape. It's like I said, a torpedo that's box press. Feels bigger than 52 ring gauge, but they call it a shark. And that's the shark is the actual Vitola from Fuente. I think they have Anejo sharks. It's definitely unique. The draw is really good, which kind of something I appreciate right off the bat. But it's all Dominican tobacco except for the wrapper. It's Cameroon wrapper. No, and if you go into the humidor and say, you know what, I want a Cameroon wrapper today, are you thinking Fuente right off the bat? You're probably thinking a few other things.
Absolutely.
I'd say. But what I appreciated about it is construction seems to be top notch, right? It always ashes really well and construction's really good. Smoke's good. Mm-hmm. No surprise, Padrón, the Series 1926, number 2, natural. Padrón's just a staple on the top 25. I think that if my own personal opinion would be, there's a couple Padróns that if I had to pick a top 5 for me of all time, they'd be on, right?
A little pricey, but they're freaking delicious smokes. And I did have an opportunity at the beginning of the year to have one of those Padrón 50th Naturals.
Yeah.
It comes in that big, huge, beautiful $5,000 coffin, and or humidor rather, and that thing just knocked my socks off good. But I mean, for $40 to $50, you kind of expect it to knock your socks off. So, but
if I was just smoking whatever I wanted to that day, regardless of the cost, I'd pick up the 50 year.
But for me, the stuff that I like from Padrón is all that like $25 and above stuff that you only really get to have on special occasions. And so Padrón for me is not a brand that I smoke that frequently because I don't like to smoke cigars that are that pricey all day, every day. So,
that's not realistic. Number 3 was interesting to me. I do love this cigar. But I don't know that it would make my top 3 of the year. I mean, for me, definitely it wouldn't, right? It's a Bellicoso.
Yeah.
The 5. All right, so the Oliva 5 by 54 Bellicoso. just the Oliva V, not the Melanio. And it's a perfectly fine cigar. I just finished a box of the Robustos, and I guess I kind of see that as like an everyday cigar. It's fine. It's under $10.
Can't beat that.
Nothing bad to say about it. Number 3?
Well, like, that's the whole thing, right? Is it like the value of the cigar is number 3, or like the taste is so exceptional that it's the 3rd best cigar that came out this year? Like, if this was an exclusively taste-based list, it would be nothing like what it is. So there are some considerations for the availability of the stick, its price, and sort of, how much money they spend advertising on Cigar Aficionado. Let's not forget that.
Okay. So, let's go into number 4 then, because you said availability, price, and how much they spend advertising, right? Number 4 is the Bolivar Bellicoso, the Bellicoso Fino, right? Not available. Probably spends no money advertising with Cigar Aficionado. Bolivar is always on the list. Why would they put a Cuban on the list, number 4 overall, unless they really thought that it deserved to be there, right? Yeah. Have you had one of these before? Have you had a Bolivar?
I've not had this size, but I have had a Bolivar before, and it was sort of middle of the road for me. To me, it was nothing that magical on the retro, nothing that really set my wheels on fire. But
so tell me honestly, what do you think about this cigar? Like, if you had to say,
I get there might be a little bit of nuttiness, but it's not something that like I feel in my mouth that I would like relate as peanut butter. I've gotten that on some Cameroons, not all, and I honestly there's not a ton of sticks on the market that I smoke that are Cameroon, but this one I don't get a whole lot of that nuttiness personally.
I think that's one of the reasons why if someone says, by the way, that's Cameroon wrapper, you'd be like, really? I didn't know that.
A bit surprising.
It also doesn't have the traditional Cameroon spots. I don't know what those spots are, but normally on a traditional Cameroon wrapper, you're going to see little white dots, and that's normal. That's pretty natural. Cameroon wrappers almost always pop. Pretty secretive about their blends. Right? Some companies will come out and say, where they're getting their tobacco from or whatever, but Fuente doesn't.
Yeah, but as far as notes that I get that I like, the burn is good. I've had some of these that don't burn quite even, and so that's a little bit frustrating. But this one today seems to be holding up pretty well so far, only about an inch in.
I've always found that the burn on these to be absolutely fantastic.
Really? Yeah, the one that I had the other day, for some reason, I just kind of...
Just didn't? Go.
Great draw. Kind of on the mild side of medium. Most of these Fuentes, I would say, hit me, which is not a bad thing. Not a ton of flavor on the retro, but there's some, and it's pleasant. I don't get anything bad out of this cigar.
I'll say the things that I like about this cigar are, first off, the shape is unique.
Definitely.
And it feels weird in your hand, but I don't know, it also feels special. Feels good. I've always found that they burn well, and they're smooth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If I could pick 2 attributes for any cigar to have, I would say I want it to burn well, and I want it to be smooth. So, going down the list here, we're going to cover the rest of it, pretty quick, because there's not, to me, there's not that too many interesting cigars on this list, but we're going to come back to one in particular. So we've got an Alec Bradley, an Ashton, a My Father. Those are, you could guess.
The Tempest, Symmetry, and the Judge that came out this year.
And you didn't care for the Judge much, have you?
They came out with originally came out in that double Robusto size that I don't care for cigars that are that big. I gave it a try, and it was okay. It didn't really hit my palate great. They came out the smaller size, and I was really excited about it, and it still did the same thing for me. I just wasn't super into it. The Symmetry, which came out a couple of years ago, I actually really liked that stick. I didn't smoke it as much as I should have, but it was a good stick. And the Tempest by Alec Bradley, I can't say that it's my favorite Alec Bradley. I did smoke one of those Lost Arts. Is it the Prensado Lost Art? Yeah. And that thing was actually really fantastic and beautiful.
I'd agree. The Prensado is my favorite.
It's a good one.
Of the Alec Bradley. I don't know if I've ever had the Lost Art.
The Lost Art's a new expression of that line, I think, but it's not the same blend at all. But yeah.
Going past, here are a few. We've got AJ Fernandez, A New World, the Puro Especial. Had that yet?
Actually, don't know that I have. A lot of guys at the shop love the New World and swear by it, but for some reason it's one that's never done it for me. It's at a great price point, and I think it's supposed to be really good for it, the price, but it's just not something that's ever like razzled me.
I think the New World in the natural wrapper is good. The Maduro or the darker wrapper. I don't think they actually call it Maduro or natural, but I don't like that one as much.
Interesting. Maybe I need to try the lighter one.
The Puro Especial is good. I do like that one.
Okay.
But AJ Fernandez, clearly one of the biggest names everybody's starting to talk about now, so that doesn't surprise me much.
So the thing with Drew State last year, the only thing that was new, I think, that I really liked was that the TAA for 2017 Herrera Esteli.
That was really good.
That was a fantastic cigar. But of course it's TAA exclusive, and I don't think those types of things usually make this list. As far as their like standard production stuff, it's not a new blend, obviously, but the Liga 9s that I had earlier in the year last year were absolutely on point. And those things have been hit or miss for me over the past couple of years, and so having those back on track was really, really nice. So
I had a couple early, and they were really good, and then they kind of went medium towards the end of the year. But maybe that's why they didn't make the top 25. You surprised that the Sungrown, the new Undercrown Sungrown, didn't make it on the top 25?
Oh yeah, that was a new release this year, and that was a pretty good stick.
That wasn't.
I enjoyed it pretty good. I think I've smoked more of those this year than I have of the shades or the standard Undercrowns, and usually enjoy my time with it.
You know, some other lists had that Sungrown as, I think one list had it as top. Was it Half Wheel? I'm not sure. That had the Sungrown as the top. So, yeah, I was a little surprised that their first showing here was at number 25 and that it was a standard Undercrown. We would like those. And then again, another Drew Estate that I think probably would have been on the list. I don't know if it's eligible, but the Herrera Esteli Miami. That was
decent stick.
That was really good. I don't know that it was as good as the TAA, but it was lighter. The TAA was quite a bit different. But yeah, that would have been it for me. Let's kind of go into, you know what, we've got a couple cigars back here. One that I would say I would take over this Shark every time if I had the option. And that is going to be the Don Carlos Personal Reserve.
Absolutely.
I like it better. Same, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the same blend, just different vitola. They came out, they were released at the same time to celebrate Don Carlos. And I think this is better. It's always smoked really well. It's less of a unique size. It's just kind of slow and steady, but yet really, really good.
Yeah, there's something about the Shark that has people's attention. Like, they always sell out of the Sharks first because they're like more highly sought after. But any day of the week, I would much rather smoke a Personal Reserve. I think it's like $2 more, maybe 13 versus 15, but it's like, it's worth it. It's smaller size, a little bit more money, but it is absolutely a much better smoke. On the Retro, I get so many more flavors that I absolutely love it. But.
Yeah, but this is excellent. This is a top cigar. If I ever see these in a store, they're mine immediately. I buy as many as I can when I come in because you just can't miss them. So this is my favorite Fuente cigar I think I've ever had. So I got another cigar back here, which I don't know that you would call your number one, but we skipped over it on the list, and I want to let Brandon talk about it a little bit because I know he's in love with this cigar, as am I. And we both smoked every single box, every single cigar we could get our hands on in our area. So
that's absolutely right. That's one thing about the list is sometimes you're pleasantly surprised when there's a cigar you've been smoking all year that you're like, for the money and for the taste and the flavor, that thing is the best. Like, I absolutely love it. Come back to it, want it every day that I see it, that it's on the shelf. And you see that, and you kind of feel like that's your opinion and your opinion alone, and then you see that that cigar makes the list, and you kind of feel like, you know what, maybe like my opinions are valid. Like somebody else tasted what I was tasting on the cigar throughout.
I'll tell you, I was absolutely floored when this was announced, or when this came out, because they do it in kind of days. When I saw this, I was absolutely blown away that this actually made the list. I was really happy to find it. But exactly like Brandon is saying, like, we smoked them all year long, and I was actually a little disappointed that it ended up on the list.
Yeah, because there's this whole like curse of the list thing where you have this small boutique cigar company who makes the list one year, and they decide to ramp up production of that cigar, and the quality goes to shit, and they try to make as much as they can for that product line, and all their other lines suffer, and it just destroys a boutique brand because they made the list and because they're taking advantage of this new demand that has been brought their way by the allure of the list. And so we've watched some stuff from this Kyle guy. We follow him on social medias. Don't know him personally, but he seems like the kind of guy that's like not going to do that. That he's going to do his thing and make sure that he's releasing the good stuff, and not kind of fall into the trap of the curse of the list. But hopefully that's the case, because I absolutely love these things, and I want to smoke as many of them as I can.
Yeah, I'd say that just watching him talk to who he has talked to. First off, he seems really open to talking and being on camera with anybody, which I really like, obviously. But second, his philosophy behind his view of cigars is on point, I think. So
his dad's a Cuban smoker. He's raised on Cuban cigars. He just appreciates sort of like on the mild range. When heavy cigars were becoming in vogue, he decided to focus on the types of cigars that he liked to smoke, the types of cigars his dad liked to smoke, and really cigars that are on the medium side, mild side of medium, but that have exceptionally good flavors. And coming out of Nicaragua, that's kind of surprising because they're kind of known for their spice and their heavy tobaccos, and so
it's a Nicaraguan puro.
Absolutely.
Right?
So him finding that nuance in those tobaccos is kind of special, and so really kind of excited. I think he's got 3 new cigars coming out this year. That's what I saw on Instagram yesterday. So I don't know what we've announced.
Is Guarding the Farm Apollo right by Warped, but it was a project between them and Casa Fernandez. So it's actually distributed by Casa Fernandez.
That's right.
We're really lucky, I think, to have that. I can't remember the first time I tried one, but I'm pretty sure you told me.
Yeah. And to be honest, it gives me a lot of the same notes as this personal reserve. It's just, it was far more available to us, and it was one of those things that for the price, to be able to get that cedar and the vanilla, that little bit of that creaminess, was just phenomenal. And it has this particular expression of it. I think they have a different size.
They have the JJ.
The JJ, which is more of a Robusto. Maybe
it's more of a traditional Robusto, yeah.
Yeah, and this one just has a little bit more spice, a little bit more punch throughout, and I like that. Not so much spice that it's hard on the retro, still very easy to just savor and enjoy every single puff, but there's a little bit of a bite there that I really like.
Yeah.
Alright guys, well that's what we think of the top 25. Take what you will of it, be excited for stuff that's on there, try it, but is it gold? Is it the word of God? Is it passed down to us from the mountaintop? No. It's just some guys' opinions, and they're paid some money to do it, so, try some stuff on the list, see what you like, but don't forget to support your brick and mortar, and smash that like button. Oh, my pits are sweaty.